Here in this video, we are going to discuss Python keywords and identifiers. So at first, we are starting with the Python keywords. So keywords are the reserved words in Python. Like any other programming languages, Python has got multiple different keywords. So during coding, keywords can't be used as the variable name and function name or any other identifier. That means keywords are reserved for the keyword purpose only. They cannot be used as a variable name or say identifier or say function name, module name and so on. So that's why these keywords are reserved for them. So they are used to define the syntax and the structure of the Python language. So in our Python tutorial, we will be using almost all keywords in different sections as when required. So keywords are the case sensitive in Python. So this is the list of different keywords available, and you can find that here we are having 33 keywords. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns are there, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows are there. So here we are having 33 keywords, and all these keywords will be discussed in the next videos as when required, because without them we cannot write our code. Let us discuss Python identifiers. So Python identifiers is nothing but the names given to the entities like your class, functions, variables, etc. So that's why they will be known as the identifiers, and they will be used to name a class, to name a variable, to name a function. In Python, it helps us in differentiating one entity from another entity. So that's why all the function names should be distinct, all the variable names should be distinct. So rules for writing identifiers. So identifiers can be a combination of letters in the lowercase or in the uppercase letters, that is capital A to capital Z, and digits ranging from 0 to 9, or an underscore like this one. So these are the valid characters in our identifiers. Names like the my class 1, var underscore 2 and display underscore 2 underscore screen. So these are all the valid examples of these identifiers. So an identifier cannot start with a digit. So one variable is not valid, it is invalid, but variable 1 can be treated as a valid identifier. Keywords cannot be used as identifiers. We cannot use special symbols like your exclamation, at the rate of, hash, dollar, percentage symbols, etc. in our identifier name. So these rules are mostly common in almost all programming languages, but in Python, these are the rules to be followed while defining identifiers. So let us go for some demonstration for the better understanding. Python is having multiple different keywords. Here in this demonstration, we shall discuss some of them. The first keyword we are going to discuss, that is true and false. Remember, true is starting with the capital letter T, and rest of the letters will be in the lowercase, and in case of false also the same uppercase and lowercase syntax will be maintained. So here we are having a 5 equal to 5 and 5 greater than 5. You can find that we are getting the outcome as true and false. So here the true and false are nothing but the keywords in Python. We are going to have the next one, that is our none. So none is equal to 0. Now let me go for the outcome. So it is producing the output is true, that is none is not 0, none is not equal to false, none is not like an empty list, and none is equal to none. It is returning me the true. Now what is the use of none actually? So let me go for this. Here we have defined one function. The name of the function is a void function, because it is void. Why? Because it does not return any value. So now if we the return, if we assign to x and if we then print x, then obviously we shall get the none as the outcome. You can find that we are getting none. But here if the function returns, then you can find that it is returning the value c. Value of c is equal to 3 here, and 3 is getting printed. But if we just make this line omitted, if we just omit this line, you are getting the outcome as none, because the function returns none. Next one is the and, or, and not. So true and true, true and true, outcome will be true and true, outcome will be true and false rather, outcome will be false. True or false, the outcome will be true, and not a false, the outcome will be true here.
So in this way you can go for other combinations. So let me write some other combinations here. So let us suppose I'm going for true and true. I'm going for true false. So here we're having this true or true, and if you go for the true here, so now let me check what is the outcome we are going to get. So true and true is true, true or true is true, and not of true is false here. So that is another way to get the outcome. And here we discuss that is the and, or, and not keywords. Now we are going to have this as. So import math as my math. So here we are having this alias of this module math. So here the keyword as has been used, and in the rest of the code we'll be using my math, not the math here, because the math has got, this module has got renamed to my math in this application. So mymath.cos, mymath.py. In this way you can go for the output. Next one is the assert. After assert, you usually write one boolean statement. So 5 greater than 5, it is producing assertion error. So that's why it is some assert error is taking place. But if I write 5 greater than 4, so after assert, always you should write some expression which will return some boolean output, that is a true and false. So some condition has to be written after this assert, after assert. So now here you can find that no outcome is obtained because both the conditions are true here. Next we are going for the break. Next keyword is break. So in this break, what is happening, you can find that for I in range 1 comma 11. So that means I will have the value ranging from 1 to 10, because this one, that is the lower limit, will be inclusive and the upper limit will be always exclusive. So that's why we are having this I which will be ranging from 1 to 10 actually, if you use range 1 comma 11. So if I is equal to 5, then break, that means it will come out from the loop. That means it will terminate the loop and it will come out from the loop. So what will happen? So the outcome is print I. So I will be printed for 1, 2, 3 and 4. But here when the I is equal to 5, then break statement will be executed. So print I will remain unreachable, will remain unreached and unexecuted. So as a result of that, up to 1, 2, 3, 4 will get printed. So break will actually terminate the loop and it will come out from the loop here. Next we are going for the continue. In case of continue, you can find that for I in range 1 comma 8, that means I will be ranging from 1 to 7. So if I is equal to 5, so when the value of I will be 5, then continue, that means the next part will remain unexecuted, unreachable, and continue means it will continue with the loop with the next value of I. So what will happen? 1, 2, 3, 4 will get printed. For 5, the continue will take place, so the control will be going back to the for statement again. So next time 6 and 7 will get printed, so 5 will be missing in the output. Next we are going for the class. So let us suppose here we are having one class, that is the example class. A class will be containing multiple variables and multiple member variables and member functions, also known as messages and methods respectively. Here we have defined two methods. There is a def function 1 parameters, we shall be passing parameters, and then print function 1, that is executing. Def function 2 parameters, so print function 2 is executing. So now we are creating one object under this class, that is an example. So here class is the keyword to define a class, and here the object has been defined under the class example class here. So ob1.function1 and ob2.function2 will be called here. So now if I go for the execution, I can find that function 1 executing, function 2 executing, they are getting printed. So in this way the class can be defined using the keyword class. In this way the class declaration will take place. Next one, you are having this def. So def will be used, def stands for define. So def will be used whenever we are going to define one user defined function. So def, then function name will be coming, then parameters, and then let us suppose we are having this pass. Pass is nothing but one placeholder. So if we execute pass, then actually no outcome will be obtained, no output will be obtained. Pass is actually required in those cases where we are supposed to enter or include some more codes to add some more functionality to the application. So that is the use of the pass actually. So def is a keyword with the help of which we are defining one function, and then you can call the function as well. So now you can see this particular function we are calling. So there is one argument it is requiring, there is a parameter. So now let me go for the parameters here. So I'm passing say 10 here. So there will be no error, but obviously there will be no outcome because pass does not produce any output here. Next we are going for the del. So this particular del, you see a is equal to 10, print a. So the value of a has got printed as 10. Del a, that means this a, this variable will get deleted from the computer's memory. So next time if I go for printing this a, then one error will be raised, and that error is known as name error, because the variable does not exist and is written as the message that name a is not defined here, because after deleting the variable a will be deallocated from the memory. So next time if you go for print a, it will tell you, it will raise the name error here. We're having this if, elif and else. Num is equal to 2. If num is equal to 1, then print 1. Elif, elif means actually else if, but here in case of Python we'll be writing it as elif, E-L-I-F. Always remember, after if and after elif we'll be writing one condition. This is the condition we are writing. After the condition there will be one colon. This colon will indicate that we are starting with a block under this true part of this if statement. So under this true part we have kept only one statement, that is a print 1. So it is having one indentation. Indentation means 4 blank spaces. You can find that we are having 4 blank spaces here. So that will indicate that this line is having the first statement with the indentation, and then we'll be writing this elif with the outer dent. With the out dent you can find that the same indentation will be maintained for if and elif. They'll be starting from the same column, and num is equal to 2. It will check whether the value of num is equal to 2 or not. Then one colon. So whenever you give colon and press enter, automatically the cursor will be blinking with the new indent. So that is a print 2, and else we are having something else. So there is a if, elif and else block. Elif and else, they are optional. If is mandatory if we write any conditional block. So elif can occur for multiple number of times also. We can have multiple elif. So let me go for the execution. You can find that it is printing 2. If I make it 1, it is printing 1. If I make it 3, it is printing something else, because the num is equal to 1 is not getting true. Num is equal to 2 is not getting true. So it is coming to the else part. Now let us suppose I'm putting another check, that means another elif. So now in this way what will happen, it is printing 3, but if I make this one 4, then it will be going for the else part. So I think now you are getting this idea what is if, elif and else block. Next we are going for this try, raise, catch and finally. So these are the very important keywords. So under the try you will be writing so many statements. We can write a block where we are expecting some errors may be raised. So errors may be raised during the calculations or computations. Otherwise we can also raise our error if I require to do so. Here one error we have raised, that is a 0 division error. So after this, except this 0 division error has been mentioned, so you are going to handle the erroneous condition here. So then there's a respective remedial body, and then finally is that very portion, that is a block under the finally will be executed even if the any error is occurring, or if there is no error, then also the finally block will get executed. So let me go for the execution. So division cannot be performed because here the raise 0 division error has been raised here. So but you see the finally block is getting executed, execution successfully. So now if we make this one under comment, then we can find that the execution successfully, this particular statement is getting executed. That means the finally block will get the control always, irrespective of the fact whether any error has been raised or not. We'll be discussing all these aspects in our respective chapters for more detailing. Let us go for the for. So this for is a keyword. So for I in range 1, 10. So here this value of I will be ranging from 1 to 9. As I told you that the ending limits, the stop value will be exclusive. So here the value of I will be ranging from 1 to 9. As we didn't mention any step value, so by default the step value will be 1. So that's why this value of I will be increased by 1 by 1. So 1, 10, that means 1, 2, 3 up to the value of I will be ranging up to 9. So let me go for the print. You can find that in this way the for is getting executed. Using this for we can go for the iterations and looping. Next we are going for this from and import, another two very important pair of keywords. So import math, that means we are importing one module, the name of the module is math, and from math we are importing this cause. So later we can use this cause as when required, but there in that case we need not to apply. So I am just writing this one, go for this print, go for cause, say I'm going for say 10 here. So if you go on printing, you can find that it is printing a value. So here I need not to write math.cause. I need not to write because we have written from math import cause here. So I can use this cause method according to the syntax as I have shown. Next we are having the next keyword, that is a global. So here we have defined one variable, that is a global var. There is a read one which will print the value of this global var. There is a write one. Here we are mentioning the global var as a variable with the keyword global. So now this global var is getting updated. Now using the write to, we can also changing this global var with 15. But here you can find that this global var, this particular statement is missing. So this now what will going to happen? So let me go for the execution. See, at first we have called this read one function. So read one will print the global var value, and that is 10. So 10 has got printed. Now it has called the write one function. So write one function will define this global var as a variable here within this write, and this global keyword is actually indicating that this global var is not a new variable, but the same variable which is there as a global variable. So we are doing the update onto that. So next one is the read one function is getting executed. So when you are printing this global var, we are not getting this 10, but we are getting this updated value, that is 5 here. In case of now we are calling this write to. In case of write to, you see the global var, that statement is missing. We are writing this global var 15. So what is happening? This global var is might be having the same name as that of the global variable, but as we didn't write global var here, so that's why this global var is working as a local variable within the write to method. So now whatever the updates we are doing, that scope is confined within this write to method. So this global var, when it will get printed, I'm going to print the 5 again, not 15 here, because we are going for the read one at the last. So in this way you can see that in this code how the global keyword has been used. We're having this in. So in actually used for the membership. So here we have defined one list. The list will be enclosed within the square brackets in our Python. So 4 in A. So now it is checking whether 4 is a member of this list or not. So it is producing the output true. But if you write the same, say print, say 44 in A, then obviously it will produce outcome as false here. So that is our in, and also we can go for the not in. You can also go for the not in. You can find that. So 4 not in A is false and 44 not in A is true. Next one we are going for this is. So print true is true. So is a keyword. So its outcome is true here. To define anonymous functions, that is user defined functions, but no name, without any name, we're using the keyword lambda. Whenever we define user defined function with a name, we are using the keyword def. Def stands for define. But in case of anonymous function, anonymous method, the keyword will be lambda. So here you see lambda. So the function has got no name. It will take this x as input argument and it returns it does a calculation, that is x star 2. So that is 2 times it will multiply this value of x, and that will be assigned to a. So for I in range 1, 6, so that means I will be ranging from 1 to 5, and it is printing I, AI. That means this I will be passed. That means at first the value of I will be 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. And this I will be passed to this method, and it is returning the 2 into x. So 2 into y will be returned. So I'm going to get, instead of 1, I shall be getting 2. When the value of I will be 2, I shall be getting 4. When the value of I will be 5, I shall be getting 10 here. So I can also print the value of I for the better understanding. Next we are going for the non-local. So this is the outer function. We are having this variable a is equal to 5. This is the inner function. Here we have defined this one as non-local a, and now we are just updating the value of a, and from the inner function we are printing the value of a. From the outer function, inner function has been defined. So now we can call the inner function, and then from the outer function scope we are printing the outer function a. So now we are calling this outer function using this statement. So we can find that inner function has got assigned 10 to a because a is non-local a. That means this a is non-local. That means the a is not local within this inner function. That means we are using this a, and whenever we are doing some update and whenever we are printing this one, I'm getting here 10, and from the outer function also, if you print this a, I shall be getting 10 back here. So here we are discussing the keyword that is a non-local. We're having the keyword that is a pass, which I've discussed already. So pass will have no outcome. You can see that I run that code, but no outcome has been obtained because pass is actually working as a placeholder. So in future, under this function, if I want to add more functionalities, if I want to add more codes and statements, in that case I can replace pass, because pass is nothing but one placeholder. Later for new code insertion, I can replace pass with the new set of codes. So that's why you see it is producing no outcome. So let me call the function also. So I'm passing this 10. You see it is producing no outcome here. Next we're having this return. Return is another very important keyword. So a is equal to 10 within this function. The body is a is equal to 10 and return a. So now whenever we are calling this function, the function will return the value of a, that is 10, and we are printing that value here. So now let me go for the execution. I'm getting 10 here. So now we are having this while. So in the case of while I is equal to 5, I greater than 0, print I, and I is equal to I minus 1. So I've written this one as I minus equal to 1. So value of I will go on printing, and this process will be continued when the value of I will be greater than 0. So if I execute my code, I'll be getting the output for I is equal to 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, the next keyword is with. So with open example.txt w as my file. So now what will happen? This example.txt will be opened in the write mode, and here we are using the keyword with, and to that particular file pointer, to this particular file reference, where you calling this write method, and this particular string will get printed onto the example.txt. So now if I go for execution, you can find that the example.txt. So let me go for the checking. Example.txt has been created just a second's ago, and you can find that its body is having only one string, that is the hello world, which we printed here. So in this way, using this with keyword, we can open a file either in the read mode or in the write mode or in the append mode, and we are having a separate section where you have discussed that what are the different modes are possible and operations are possible on our data files. So this is the use of the with keyword. We're having the yield. That is another very important keyword in our generator. So def generator, we have defined one method. The name of the method is generator, and for I in range 6, that means here this value of I will be ranging from 0 to 5. 6 means the value will be ranging from 0 to 5. And here we are not returning anything. You see, in case of generator function, we don't have the return statement. We usually have the yield statement. Yield will go on accumulating all the calculated values. So what is the value here? I star I. I will be ranging from 0 to 5. So I'm going for the square of that I. So it will be having the value 0, 1, 4, 9, 16, and 5 squared, that is 25. So now yield will return one iterator. So now generator, the outcome will be obtained in G, and then for I in G, I shall go on printing the value of I, and the respective outcome will be obtained here. So instead of having the return, in case of generator functions, we'll be having the keyword yield, which will go on accumulating all the calculated values, and later from this iterator, we can, using the for loop, we can pick up each and every element at a time in one loop, in one iteration, and go on doing the computations. But here we have just printed the value of I here. So in this particular example, we have discussed multiple different keywords. You can see there are so many different keywords we have defined. Other than this, other keywords are also available, but these are the most usable and frequently used keywords in our Python code, and on them we have written small example codes, and we have explained that one with the required outputs. Thanks for watching this video.